Man United Agenda. I'm joined by Mr. B and Talk MU, and we're going to discuss the new additions at the club. Yes, good evening. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. My name is OMONDI Juma. I'm joined by the wonderful Mr. B and the great Talk MU. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Good,
yeah, good. How are you doing?
Do you like that billing? Do you like how I build you up? Wonderful.
Yeah, I like
great.
it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm having
just
it.
Like the channel. Good. So it's going to be a short show today. We're just going to cover four things because we can talk about the new additions to the the staff, and for the first 5-8 minutes, we'll talk about the role descriptions, go into detail about the 2 role descriptions that we've got here, and also video data analysis, and just talk about the press conference as well, leading up to Young Boys. There's some interesting things we want to discuss there, Mr. B, right. So first of all, there's an announcement made today in the press conference that we finally got an assistant coach to Rangnick, and his name is Chris Armas. Armas. I don't know. I can't get that right. I'm gonna have to wait for the
Armas.
Armas. So, and also we've got a sports psychologist coming in called Sasha, Lense, who both guys are known to Rangnick. Mr. B, do you want to start us off with Chris Armas from New York Red Bulls?
Yeah, it seems that we met him on his coaching while he was head of sports and development for Red Bull. That's where the connection is with Rangnick. It seems like he's known him for a little while. I was listening to a couple of videos today, and they were talking about him being it was an American show, in all fairness, but they seem to be really happy that he's been given a job of that stature. Wow. Although they're talking about it being a 6-month contract, he said, you know my opinion on that already, but we'll keep that for something else. But,
no, let us know. Let the world know now. Come on, let it out. Leak out.
I just feel that that people don't sign contracts for 6 months. I truly believe that the manager that they want, they have already spoken to, and he's definitely going to come, and all these decisions and all these appointments that United are making is just to make it a smooth transition for when that next manager comes in, my opinion.
So just to summarize, this guy is known to Ralph. He's worked with Ralph before, the new assistant coach. But
he hasn't worked with the psychologist. I'm sorry, we're talking about Chris Armas.
Chris Armas. Yeah,
he hasn't worked with him, but they've crossed paths in the jobs that they've had. So there's a lot of
as an assistant coach, he's going to be on the bench with Ralph then.
Yes,
yes, that's a huge role then, isn't it?
Yes, no more Fletcher and McKenna on the bench now. So hopefully a new voice is going to inspire those players to lift their levels a little bit higher.
Just to add, did we know when he's coming in, Mr. B? Chris?
Well, at the moment it's a work permit situation, so he's hoping that by Thursday, he did say in the press conference that Wednesday he hopes, but Thursday should be a definite. So we're hoping that come Thursday they'll be more involved in the team. So,
and that's straight from the horse's mouth. From
yes,
Ralph.
definitely 100%. That's not paper talk. That's not me on the drink. It's official.
All right, moving on. So the second post, I had it to you, Talk MU. We've got a sports psychologist called Sasha Lense coming in. What's your homework? What have you done? What do you know about this dude?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find an awful lot about him, but with the type of role that he's going to be fulfilling at Man United, it's kind of umbrellaed, into certain categories, which we'll talk about later. But I mean, he's been at a few teams, previously. Some, I would say the biggest. I don't know if you would agree, but Leipzig and Schalke. Which of those would you say is the bigger club? You know what I mean?
Schalke. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, the guy's got a lot of experience, and it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how they all combine together, because he's not going to be, doing other roles away from what the players are doing in training. Apparently, it's going to be blended together. The whole shebang is going to be all together.
So apparently they're saying he's a sports psychologist, but he's going to be used as a coach on the coaching side of things.
Yeah, that's the thing. When we can talk about after this, we can talk about what that's going to entail. But this is what I'm saying is like this now. We've got what, McKenna and Phelan still, and anybody and the throwing coach. What's his name again? And the other coach, right?
Okay.
So now we're going to have what? It's going to be what? About 6 or 7 people involved, which is like, it's a crazy number, really, when you think about it. It is a crazy number, but I mean, you know what? All we can do is be optimistic. I will put it that way. All we can do is just be optimistic, and that this is going to work out in the way that we anticipate it.
So apparently, Sasha Lense, he's also been a former player. He's played in lower divisions in Germany, so he's known. He's known to. He's been at RB with Red Bull. I'm saying Red Bull with our boy Ralph as well. So they're quite familiar with one another. So on the training ground as well, hopefully he can sort of get over Ralph's philosophy quite easily. I hope. And any issues about work permit as well with him? Then talk.
Yeah, same kind of thing, really. You've just got to wait, but it shouldn't take no more than a few days.
Brilliant. Okay, so guys, welcome everyone in the comments. Just want to say, press the like and subscribe, guys. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and make sure you press the like buttons now. Just moving on. So we want to cover the issue here. So sports psychologists, apparently these are sort of guys that you can hire in, or someone individually, like a player might hire a man in to do sports psychology on him. But we're hiring a guy for the club. Obviously, he's going to do the coaching, but Ralph has said in the past that he does have a sports psychologist in the club. So I'm just going to run through a quick summary about what a sports psychologist is about, what they do. So 3 factors here. They deal with the mental side of the game. They encourage, players. They get players to have challenges for themselves, like outcomes. Work on motivation. That's a mental thing, isn't it? Motivation to get getting up for games or getting up for playing and training and that kind of thing in life. They usually help athletes and teams, so to do individually, and as we're seeing for us, it's probably be for the whole team as well. We're going to have an employee one for the whole of Manchester United. They add extra resource to the team, usually by referral or practitioner in the past. You'd get a referral to come in, someone struggling, let's call in a sports psychologist. But now he's going to be based in the club, So usually you get someone who does the research and collects findings and data, and the sports psychologist gets his findings and data and applies it effectively to the team, on the whole, to get the most out of him. So anything like any obstacles that a player or the team is experiencing, they provide solutions for that kind of thing. And confidence is a huge factor to restoring confidence in players, reaching goals and targets, and a sense of achievement and pride, that kind of thing. So these are all mental stuff that we don't often sort of think about, do we? So any ideas? Do anyone want to have Mr. B? What do you think about a sports psychologist being based at the club with that sort of summary? Can't hear you.
Mr. B.
Sorry, you throw me. I thought a sports psychologist was. This is going to sound like a hype man. You understand what I'm saying by that? As in a person who G's up the players. Now you talking about him collecting data for the team and eliminating problems for the team. I thought it was more on an individual basis. Have I got that wrong? Have I got that whole part of it wrong?
It is both. They do both. So maybe because we're employing someone for the club, he'd be a sports psychologist for the club. Eventually, we get someone in. This guy's going to be a coach. But usually, say we're in a team. Say you're in your team. Your left back on Saturday football is struggling a bit. You'd call someone in as a practitioner to deal with his problems and motivation. But this is going to be as a team, so everyone will have access to him.
Okay, yeah, because it sounds like he's going to be like proper hands-on every day. It doesn't look like he looks like he's going to be on the training ground with the players.
Maybe not in the training ground with the players, but like in the background doing things. Then people can be referred to him.
Rangnick has said he will be at the training ground.
Oh, sorry. I'm talking about the job as a sports psychologist.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about the job as a sports psychologist, but the role of this guy coming in was a sports psychologist, but he's got to be doing the training. He's going to be doing the general training. But the role of a sports psychologist in football is quite a modern thing right now. It's happening a lot in clubs, and we're now employing our first guy. So, TALKMU, do you want to add to that? Anything you want to add about the role of a sports psychologist at the club after what we just talked about?
Yeah. Oh, mate. I mean, listen. This is it is an important role, to be fair, because you're talking about a team sport here. Everybody has their own individual weaknesses and their own individual strengths. So you've got to try and combine all them together to make a solid unit, and that's part of the plan here as well in terms of what this guy is going to be doing. Not only working with them individually, on like you said, motivation, resilience as well, emotional control, and just like their overall sort of mental state. It's managing as also your personal life with balancing it up with what you're doing in football. Because if you just let those things sort of melt into one, you get problems. You can't concentrate on your game. You don't speak to anybody. Nobody understands what's going on. Then the manager's got problems, wondering, what's wrong with this player? Something's going on. So these guys like this are there to help that whole process and eliminate that. So for me, I think it's a cracking move. And like we say, in terms of where he's worked before with other clubs, does that really matter in this particular role? If he understands what he's talking about and what he's doing in terms of how to get into people's minds, because this is what it's about, isn't it? This is about getting into their heads, making them focus on specific things during a match, as a collective and individually. So for me, I just think it's a cracking move, and like I said before, let's just hope that it does go the way that we're hoping, that we're just going to see some real big improvements from the players.
Because it's a big club. Like you said, playing for a big club is massive, isn't it? And I think, if you look over, let's think about some players over the last couple of seasons who might have benefited from having a sports psychologist there. Someone like who's gone off form. We've got Martial, who seems to be sort of drifting. We've got what's his name, Harry Maguire, with all the issues he's had. Phil Jones, especially, he came out recently talking about depression from all the abuse he's been getting online and that kind of thing. Maguire was arrested, wasn't he? He had all that scandal. We had the penalty misses from Rashford, from Sancho. Any other players you think would benefit from this kind of thing that we've seen over the last couple of seasons who've had a dip in form or some issues?
I think they could all benefit from, honestly, Monday. I think especially the younger players like Mason Greenwood, for example. Because like we were saying,
surrogate son.
Well, it's about balancing expectation and you sign your own goals that you meet, trying to put in your own mind. If you're putting them goals too high, what happens is you go out and try too hard, and when you try too hard, that's when you get problems. So if somebody like that, this guy can help young players especially deal with it better and set themselves more, how we say, realistic goals and targets, and then they're not then going into games thinking I'm going to have to score or I'm going to have to assist. No, you're not. That's not. You don't have to be like that. You don't have to think like that in order to be a team player. So I think things like that are going to be really important. And not, like I say, not just for the younger players, but for all the players.
So Jackie here is saying, "Hi Jackie, how you doing?" She's saying, "I do believe a sports psychologist role has changed. I do believe there should be a sports psychologist role. The game has changed so much with added pressures. What are these added pressures that she's talking about, Mr. B? What do you?
Money, Twitter,
pressure. That's no pressure.
Instagram. When you say that, but there's certain things that these players can't do. They can't. Well, they can't go Sainsbury's. They can't go Asda. They've got. It's just a different life. Me personally, I want the psychologist not to be dealing with their money. I want them to give them a winning mentality. That's what I want. That's what I want Lense to come in and do. Every day, you're a winner, you're a winner, you're a winner. That's what I want him to preach to them with the tactics that Rangnick's going to be giving them, you know, and the fresh, you know what it's like, fresh impetus in the game. You're listening to a new voice, you know, it's going to be 3 new voices at least coming in, you know, and if you're getting the performances that we keep seeing, I mean, look, the improvement's been, even under Carrick, the improvement was, but this game was a different level up.
Yeah.
So if you've got all of that coming in, and then you've got the motivation of a sports psychologist, it can only be good for the club. It can only be good for the players at the club.
Do you remember? I think Glenn Hoddle. Do you remember Glenn Hoddle when he was England manager? He brought in. Yeah, that's what I'm coming to. Yeah, you took the words out my lips. So, because she was like a spiritual guide, or she wasn't really a sports psychologist, but the role was the same, really, to get the best out of the players mentally. But this was more spiritually as well. So, but he got a lot of abuse about that, didn't he? Because of something he said about karma and thing, which he shouldn't have said at the time, you know. But it just shows that was like 98, 25 years ago, or something like that. You know, so it's a long time ago, but he recognised the importance back then, which I think he was ahead of his time, Glenn Hoddle. He recognised the importance of bringing someone in just to mentally or spiritually get the players on board, you know, that kind of thing. Do you want to add to that about Glenn Hoddle being ahead of his time? I don't know. That's kind of funny to me.
I mean, this whole psychology. It's like, you know, you got to separate your home life to your job. You know, they're 2 separate things. And like I said before, if they start to melt into each other, that's where you can have a problem. So it's for me, it's just like I said before, it's a cracking and very wise decision. Whoever's decision this has been. I mean, is this Ralph's decision? Is it him who's?
Yes.
I should imagine it is. Yeah. So you know what? That tells you then that he's got plans. He's got focus in his own mind. And when you're looking at a manager that has got clear pathways, that have got at each destination there is a goal and an opportunity for something to flourish and be successful, then wow, I mean, come on, it's great.
So moving on quickly, because I just want to say to you guys, we at Man United Agenda, we're pushing all the way. We're growing as a channel, and when we reach 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away a Bruno Fernandes signed shirt. You probably heard that here 1,000 times, but the 1,000 is the important mark. So as soon as we hit 1,000, we'll be doing a live draw, and one of you subscribers will be able to win that shirt. Hopefully not solo again. We don't want that. That'll just cause uproar, you know, and scandal, which we're really not about. So please press the like and subscribe button, please, guys. Thank you for your contributions. Again, great comments so far. Secondly, right, the second role I want to talk about, which has not really been employed yet, but Ralph has said this from the start, is a video data analysis. Yeah, we've all heard about this. So this is modern football. This is what people do. So a performance analysis is a video based thing. So it gives feedback to the players, pre and post match meetings, engaging with the players on a sort of like touch screen, etc., to spotlight and highlight all the issues. Which need important issues about a game. So there's four main targets for the sport sort of video data analysis. It'd be the training week, so you'd have someone focusing on the training week and what they do in training. That's all going to be filmed, and then you have the pre-match where someone will go out and study the opposition, and they will collate information about the strength and weakness of the opposition and what they're like in and out of possession, that kind of thing. You know, they'll watch the opposition for the last 5 games and then go and watch them live and then present a 30-minute sort of presentation to the coaches and to the players in a pre-match meeting, and which was sort of high. And this will break up between the defense, the midfield, and attacking. So everyone will have all the knowledge, all the information, all the data on the opposition. So that's what usually happens in a pre-match meeting with these new video data analysis. And these are people employed to do this. And then they would do the live game analysis as well. They would study the live game, watch it, and how we perform after training, and the pre-match information and how we perform it. And then they would do a post-match analysis as well, you know? So it's a lot of information there and data that they use to sort of judge how we're doing. So it could be data, how many shuttle runs someone does on the pitch, or are they doing it in the training? Has it increased? Is someone, I read the other day, Pavard from Barcelona, Bayern Munich, his data has decreased. Something's wrong with him. He's not doing the same amount of runs as he used to. And this is all from this video data analysis. So this is going to be incorporated into our club as well now, big time. Guys, thoughts on this? Mr. B, what do you think about this kind of role?
I'll be honest. I thought we had this at the club already.
Ralph's bringing it big time.
I mean, this is an extra. We have been doing this at the club already, haven't we, Amanda?
Yeah, but not on the levels of Ralph. Yeah.
But it's stepped up with Ralph now, yeah?
Yeah. Ralph's bringing it in, like incorporating it massively into the club. Yeah. Anything that players can see and don't have to listen to is going to benefit them. My opinion. The fact that they can see pictures or they can understand maybe. I mean, I would love to have the iPad or be linked to their iPad to see what sort of things they're discussing and what they're talking about. Because if it's discipline, I think they're going to have the discipline to do what he wants them to do. What in regards to in-game stats, I'm not really a stats man. Solo's the stats man, but we're I-men. So I would more be looking at it from what I'm seeing in training. Now, obviously, if it correlates with the data that the video, and because obviously they're going to be doing it, they're going to be having it in training for them for maybe formation tactics or whatever. But these are things that I would have expected them to have before. But it looks like now Ralph is bringing everything to a German level. You know, like they do things to the minute. They've got the minute. You know, he was talking about having a sports psychologist for Germany in 1998. You know, that's a long time. You know, so the fact that these are the things that his German mentality is bringing to our club, I keep saying something's in the pipeline. Yes, thank you so much. TalkMU, what do you want to add about this video data analysis and how it works, how it's going to help Manchester United Football Club, having it increased like this?
Yeah, I mean, so again, it's a positive, and it just means also that the players have got nowhere to hide. You know what I mean? You got nowhere to hide, have you? No excuses. That's one big factor of it. I think another big factor of it as well is it helps with the selection, you know, the team selection for when coming up with like certain games. You know, if you've got a lot of stats there that you can look at and work from against yours and the opposition, it's, you know, you can, it's like spreadsheets. You know, you can balance it up and go, right, well, okay, we know X player covers this amount of ground out of possession, you know, blah blah blah. Match it up with what position is that, left back, right back, blah blah, whatever. You know, it just matching things up, and also like what was it? Mark Gemini says in game fitness levels and recovery time. So I should imagine that though will already be something that the club, would you hope they would know about that already? Because if they don't, what we've been doing. No, you know what I mean? What we've been doing. So to me, I think that this is more about helping the coaches understand the players, understand their weaknesses, understand their strengths, and giving them more sort of to go off when it comes to picking the team. That's surely that's all it boils down to. You can't really get any more from it than that, I don't think.
And preparation as well. I think when you're prepared for something, you can cope with it better. So the sport combined with the sports psychologist, preparation, motivation, challenges, all that kind of thing, and then you've got the video data analysis guy who's preparing you for each game. So each game, it's like a Formula One driver will do the practice day, learn the track, do the simulation, that kind of thing. So you'll master it. You master the game before it's even played. So this, I think, is so detailed, isn't it? This video analysis.
Yeah. But the one thing here is I'm sure they've got enough experience to this has to be all, you know, because we know we've said it many times, like about Manchester City and Liverpool. Can they sustain this type of football? Because to play that kind of football, it takes, like, you know, lifestyle changes, regimes, you know, rules, regulations, all kinds of things going on in your at the training ground and at home while you're at home, sleeping at certain times, waking up at certain times. You can't do this, you can't do that. All these things all come together. So for us, if a lot of this is going to be new to us, you know, also newish, like ramped up, then it has to be. You're going to have to do it sort of, you know, steady Eddie, not just sort of be like right players and everything's just bombarding them, because I think that can be dangerous in its own right if you try and do too much at once. So hopefully we'll see this gradually coming into play. I mean, and let's have it right. What we seen the other day in that game from the last game, with Ralph having only 45 minutes, one training session, and a meet and greet, we've seen the effects of that. I mean, surely it can only be positive.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. So all these instructions to the club is just to maximize the potential of what we can achieve, you know, as a club. And we should be achieving so much more compared to what we've done in the last 7-8 years. So I'm fully behind this, you know. So Mr. B, going to come to you in a sec, because we want to talk about the press conference, guys. Last 5 minutes here. Just want to talk about the press conference. What kind of things stand out for you? Because he had Matic. We're sitting with him discussing the team and everything else. What stood out for you? Because did he talk about any particular players, fringe players that could be getting a game? Because obviously we qualified. So what's your conclusion of the press conference with Ralph, please?
Am I on this first talk? Shall I let you go first?
Yeah. No, Mr. B. Yeah.
I mean, look, Matic was talking. The first thing he said was they want to impress the manager. This is the so-called second string.
Right.
He was talking about Ralph was talking about the freshness of players. So to me, and he mentioned Norwich, you know, we have managers, and it tends to happen a lot in the game where they don't talk about the game after. We know they're thinking about it, but they don't talk about it. He specifically mentioned freshness for the Norwich game. He also mentioned Henderson starting. He mentioned
Dino.
Matic had the floor. He's starting. He said he's starting. He said Donny's starting. He was specifically asked. He was specifically asked about Donny playing the game and players getting game time. Henderson, Matic, and Donny are playing. That's fact. Unless they come down with something tonight, that's what we've got to look forward to. The rest of the team, he didn't open up on. We can only guess because they're through. We can work out the players who we think might play. Maybe have a discussion in a couple of minutes about that. But there was so much positivity. And then he was talking about the final part that got to me was he said it's logical to have a sports psychologist. He couldn't understand why we didn't have one. He said all clubs in Germany have had them. So he's come here again thinking, said, I don't know if Liverpool have one. I know they've got a throwing coach. I don't know if Arsenal have one. I don't know if Man City have one. I don't know if Tottenham have one. I can only know that our club specifically, unless it was individual players, didn't have a holistic sports psychologist. So there was a lot of things that he brought to the press conference, and his honesty. And OMONDI, you know, you talk about, I know I'm waffling, so I've got to get this out. You talk about tactics, and I used to think, man, OMONDI is the, you know, I was sitting down watching the press conference. It was just like, wow. He's just talking about stuff, talking about the game, talking about in-game. It's like, no, I love Ollie in it, or I love Dolly. And to hear the difference, the complete difference, and he understands what he's talking about. He even had a question in German, and all right, he's German, but the fact that he can switch from language to language, no problem. I love that. It's intelligence, you know. So he's bringing a world of experience now with him. He's bringing the coaches that he needs to come in. So yeah.
Brilliant. So Mr. B there is highlighting the contrast from Ollie to Ralph, as in the confidence in what he's able to talk about with conviction, you know. So what's your outcome of this press conference, TalkMU? What did you notice? Anything you want to talk about regarding the players, or any sort of hints into what's going to happen against young boys? who's starting, you know?
Well, unfortunately, when I tuned into it, he was speaking German. So I was like, "Whoa, yeah!" I was like, "Oh, what?" And you can't rewind it on the when it's live on the on the Man United channel. And I was like, website. So I was like, "Wow, what are you doing here?" So anyway, so I've not had time to watch it all. But going off what Mr. B's saying there, I mean, yeah, it was quite clear that he was going to take a balanced approach with this game because we're qualified.
Yeah,
he's not just going to like wipe the whole team that played last game out. You know, he's going to keep some legs in there. You know, we need to keep things going. And again, but I want to make something clear: is this is just an approach. It's not guaranteed to work, is it? We have to remind ourselves of that. This is a new approach. That's all it is, really. When you boil it down to gravy, this is just a new approach by somebody else who's got different ideas to somebody else. So we're going to see, you know, the decisions that he now makes. Because listen, we still need to win this game. I've heard people saying we don't need to win this game, but we do. We have to make sure we absolutely top that group. There's no two ways about that. So we're going to see now in how clever he really is. You know, looking at young boys' last performances, blah, blah, blah. Our last game against them, which was, let's not mention it. So I just think he's going to, he's, like you say, the players that he's named who he's going to give a chance to in a start, he's already made that clear, which is great. We got Donny van der Beek, you know, Henderson's going to get a shout. But for me, I just think he's going to stick with at least 7, maybe 6 or 7 from the previous game, and then mix it up with others in there. But listen, when you listen to the guy talk, he just fills you with confidence. And for me, that's you know, what more do you want?
Totally. So I mean, he was talking about a crowded fixture list, and it makes sense to rest players, you know. He says his whole ethos is to win games. Simple. Very simple. Like, very simple when he drops things. There's no complication here. He said, and he wants to make up. This is what he said was really got me. He said he wants to make up for the loss in the first game against Young Boys. So that means something to him as well. And I think, wow, you know, that means something. You know, he's showing, he's getting the fans on board, saying, no, we don't accept that. You're going to get licks, you know. Someone who's talking about 5-0 in the predictions yesterday.
I said 7-2.
Well, there you go. It could well be. Put your bets on, boys. So also, he said in the first half against Palace, he felt that he was really happy with the performance. He said it's almost perfect. So what he wants, if we want to see how we want to play in the future, first half against Palace is what Ralph is actually saying was almost perfect for him. And he said, by the second half, we controlled the game, and he was content with that, you know. So he was saying the video session and post-match session was success, development, result of development in an improved team about defending. He wants to improve the team defending, and he mentioned as well that it's the first clean sheet that we've had at home for 6 months since April, you know. And when he was asked about what is success, how he defines success this season, he said Champions League, getting in the Champions League, challenging for the FA Cup, and challenging for the league and the Champions League, and getting in the Champions League and going far, as in trying to win the Champions League, try and win the league, if not top 4, and win the FA Cup. So he's very positive and direct and keeps it very simple about what he wants. So are we all on side with Ralph? Because I am, for sure.
Most 100%. Definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So keeps things simple and sweet as the game should be played. So yeah, that's about it from us today. What have we got on tomorrow, guys? It's a big game. So TalkMU, can you let us know what time you're going on?
The watch along tomorrow with me and Mr. B. Did the game, is it a 7:45 kickoff? Is it 8 o'clock?
Champions League, what was it, 8 o'clock or 7:45?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
So you will be coming on 10 minutes before the game then?
Well, 7:45. We'll be on at 7:45. And we are, for those people who have made the comment about the timer. Yeah, that's something that we're looking into as we go along our journey. Yeah, so we're going to look if we can get something in that. But in the meantime, whilst we haven't got one, we will be reminding you of the actual time in the game, so you know you can keep up to date on the time.
What's happening after the game then? Are we doing a post-match show as well? It's going to be late, but make sure Mr. B, post-match show, you on that?
100%. You know me, man. I talk until midnight, bro. And I know we're gonna do that. I know we're gonna score loads of goals. So no, I 100% we've got that watch along. 15 minutes.
So action packed.
Will be on.
action-packed Champions League game. Got the floodlights on. Welcome to Manchester, young boys. Hopefully, you're going to get a taste of Ralph's revenge, you know? So until then, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Like we say, we've got a live watch-along, and afterwards, we've got a post-match show. But thanks for tuning in. 2 new additions to our club. Hopefully, these guys settle in and start working with the boys and getting us improving on what we've already done with Palace and things. So let's go Manchester United. Until then, we're out. Good night, guys. Good night.
Ciao.